Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's Dax here. So today's video, which is the best grappling arts out of Judo, catch wrestling, Sambo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Which is the best grappling art for you to learn? So nowadays, a lot of people are starting to cross-train and mix the different arts together, applying the Jeet philosophy of taking a little bit of each and applying them to your game. And obviously, as a Jeet Kune Do guy, that's what I recommend that you do. But let's say you don't have money to train all these different grappling arts, or let's say you live in an area where you have a limited amount of choices or schools nearby. Which should you focus in on? So if your goal is to compete in some type of grappling tournament, then I recommend Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It seems to work very well because the takedown in a matted surface isn't going to matter as much, okay? And we see this a lot, somebody gets taken down, they pull a guard and, pull off a triangle or an arm bar and get the win, right? However, if your goal is self-defense, I think the majority of people out there do not want to compete professionally. They're looking for self-confidence, a great workout, and something that if they were in the street, they could defend themselves. Then I recommend looking at other options or other arts that do focus on the takedown just as much as the groundwork. So if you live in an area that has colder climates, in which people are going to be wearing jackets or sweaters, then old school Judo or Sambo, I believe, is the way to go. Because there's a lot of throws and even chokes that you could pull off if you know Sambo or Judo. There's even chokes that you can pull off if a person's just wearing a regular t-shirt. The problem is that old school Judo, and I'm talking about Kosen Judo. If you look that up, Kosen Judo, they had a different rule set in that they had unlimited time on the groundwork, which is called Newaza, and old school Judo also had some leg locks and neck cranks. The problem is that this old style of Judo, as far as all my research has led me to believe, can only really be found in Japan. So if you live in a colder climate, then I recommend Sambo. Now, if you live in a warmer climate, like I do, I'm here in Miami, Florida, then catch wrestling is really the way to go. Or even if you're about to get into a fight and somebody takes off their shirt, well, now you've lost all your grips, okay? So in that sense, wrestling is a lot more universal. It doesn't matter if you're warm climate, colder climate. Wrestling doesn't need those grips in order to pull off their techniques. And the reason that I like things like Sambo and catch wrestling is because, let's say you're wearing gloves, right? Well, then arm bars and different grips to the hand are going to be a lot more securable because you have friction. Same thing goes with the gi. You could hold on to the sleeve. However, in the street fight, everybody's wearing shoes, so it's kind of like the opposite, right? If a person's wearing shoes, you're going to have a lot more friction to hold on to pull off your different leg locks. So another reason why I like Sambo and catch wrestling is for the takedowns. Like I already said, if you get taken down, if you get thrown on a concrete surface, well, that could end the fight right there. And even in a lot of modern MMA, you see a lot of the champions are coming from either a Sambo or wrestling background. For Sambo, look up Fedor Emelianenko or Khabib, which is undefeated. As far as catch wrestling, you got Sakuraba, who's nicknamed the Gracie Hunter because he went undefeated against the Gracies. And one of my all-time favorite fighters, Genki Sudo. Genki Sudo had a match against Butterbean, who was way taller, way stronger than him. This was not a weight class fight, and he was able to get a single leg takedown on him and secure a leg lock. And even just with collegiate wrestling or Greco-Roman, there's a lot of champions in MMA that have a wrestling background. Some of the greatest fighters have some type of wrestling background. George St. Pierre, John Jones, Tyrone Woodley, and the reason is that if you know wrestling, then you can dictate where you want the fight to go. If you want the fight to remain standing and striking, then wrestling is going to help you out with that. If you want to take the fight down to the ground, wrestling is going to help you out with that. So there you go, guys. That's my answer. Obviously, if you can, cross-train, take the best parts of each one. But if you can't, then consider looking into what your goals are and pick based on what works best for you. All right, everyone. See you next time.